Hello class, this is Mr. Cornell. I'm going to be showing you a cool web app today. It's called Desmos. It's an online graphing calculator, very similar to what we use in class, only a bit flashier and more colorful. It'll be useful in putting together a nice report on your graphs for the fundraising ideas that you have. All right, so let's just get down to it here. So our goal was to raise $1,000 to buy the 4 Chromebooks. So our equation to represent that is going to be y equals 1,000, right? That's where we need to get to. And that should show up over here on the right. The only problem is that this only goes up to 10. So I need to zoom out. So one way to do that is to use the scrolling function on your mouse. If I scroll down, it zooms in. If I scroll up, it zooms out. So I just go all the way up till I get to 1,000 and I should see the line. There it is. All right, so now I want to look at some of my fundraising ideas. I heard a few really good ones. One of them was to do a car wash. So the equation that the student showed me for their car wash idea was y equals, there was a $60 investment to buy the soap and sponges, and they said they were going to charge $5 a car. All right, so now you see this blue line over here matches with this blue equation. I can go up to the intersection point, right? It's called the solution of these two lines, and it will show me I have to wash 212 cars to meet my goal. All right, so I can easily now manipulate this equation depending on my parameters. I can either go right in here or I can do another one. So I'm gonna do another one so it's easy to compare, right? So it's still a $60 investment, but instead of charging $5 a car, I'm gonna charge $10 a car. All right, so I can see there now, I'm gonna wash half as many cars, right? Get to 106 cars will get me to my goal of $1,000. All right, and then now I want to start comparing ideas. So another idea that I heard was to sell T-shirts. All right, and they were looking up at a site that said with a $200 investment, you could get T-shirts for, I think it was $5 a piece or something like that. They wanted to sell them for $10, but whatever it was, it came out to making $7 a T-shirt. So this was their equation. I can see it over here. All right, so that's all nice and fine. It's color coded and everything, but it's starting to get a little scrambled. The equations are all kind of merging together. I can still see it, but it's not good enough for a report, when you're trying to present it to some investors and communicate your idea clearly. It's a little jumbled looking. So what we're going to do is have to change the parameters here. So we're going to go to this little wrench here, the graph settings. We'll click on that. We could change the minimum and maximum X and Y values, just like you do in class on your calculators. All right, so let's think about the minimum X values. Well, X represents how many cars I'm washing or shirts I'm selling. So hopefully I'm not selling negative shirts. All right, so really it should be at 0. But me personally, I like to put a little wiggle room, so I'd put in just a little beyond 0 so that it all kind of fits in the window. And maximum, well, I want to be able to sell as many as I possibly can, right? But let's just look at in terms of what our goal was, right? So look like 170 for the cars. This one here was 206. So we may just want to do it somewhere around 200 or 300 instead of 1400. Let's do 300 to be on the safe side. And we can always change it if it doesn't look quite right. Now for the Y values, this is how much money we're making, right? So hopefully I'm not losing money, which would be money in the negative direction, but it is possible, right? Because we're investing money up front. The car wash, it's a little easier to make it back because we're only investing $60. But the T-shirt idea, it's kind of a big risk. We're investing $200 in order to buy those T-shirts. We got to be able to see that here. How many shirts do I need to sell to break even? All right, so let's go a little below that 200, even though we know we're not going to lose more at least than we invested. That's a good thing about investing is you can't lose more than you invest. And how much can we make? Well, our goal is 1,000, but we want to give ourselves enough room for growth. We might want to end up making more, right, in order to purchase more than 4 Chromebooks. So we could put in 2,000. That would give us 8 Chromebooks, unless there's some kind of a deal where if you buy more, it costs less. So as you can see, that looks a little bit better now. Okay, so I can go for each of these ideas here, and I can take a look at how well they sell. I can look at the break-even points. How many cars do I need to wash or shirts do I need to sell in order to break even? Hit the 0 point there. All right. And if I do any less than that, you can see I'm in the negative zone down here. All right, so that's just kind of the basic functionality of this. Now, in order to put this in your report, you're going to have to be able to capture this graph over here. So you can either use a separate screenshot app, or some have them built in already. There's also this function up here, the share button on the right, at the upper right corner of the calculator. You can email it to yourself or your classmates. You can embed it into your blog or website or wiki, or you can just do the image here. So you'll notice that this app is still somewhat new, so they're still adding features. So what would be nice is if we could label the axis down here so we know what's actually going on. So you might need to end up either doing that by hand or importing this into PowerPoint and putting a text box, or maybe using Paint. You could also rewrite the equations over here so it all makes sense. So this is a really good app to make it look nice, but we're still waiting on them to add some more features. So some of this stuff you're going to have to do on your own here. All right, so that's really it there. Now you can print it out and put it in your folder, or if you've opted to do an online portfolio or wiki, you can now just embed this into your blog or wiki. All right, so that's about that there. If you have any questions, hit me up on my Twitter account at Mr. Cornell, or on Edmodo. Otherwise, we'll see each other in class. Good luck.